Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to get started here in just a minute. Hope you are having a wonderful day as we are leaping towards the holiday break. I'm sure that makes everybody smile. Again, thanks for joining us. As you're getting settled in, feel free to use the chat to communicate with us. Maybe share with us just to test it out, share where you're from. And again, we're happy to have you here. See more and more people joining. That's great. All right. We've got Michigan, Georgia, South Dakota, New York, Nebraska, Tennessee, Colorado. All right. We're everywhere. Excellent. All right. We're going to give this another minute just to make sure we get as many folks in here as possible. Excellent. California's checked in. All right, Detroit, we see you. I'm in Chicago, and our guest Kiana is in Virginia. So I think we've almost cut. Yeah, Florida's here too. Great, Texas. This is awesome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Oh, another Chicago person. All right. A couple of Chicago people. That's great. Cubs fans, right? Just messing around. That's a Chicago thing. Oh, White Sox. You got to go. Just playing. All right, guys. Well, again, thanks so much for joining. I've got to stop looking at the chat or I'm going to start laughing. Welcome to 3 strategies for improving teacher growth and retention. Again, we know how busy you are. We know it's a busy time of year. So thanks so much for making time for us. It is my pleasure to introduce you to our guest speaker and panelist here, Ms. Kiana Fields. Kiana, thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Kiana is a lead teacher in Fallon Park Elementary School, which is in Roanoke City Public Schools. So that's what I said Virginia was checking in. Kiana has been with the school district for 17 years. She has spent 15 years as a middle school English teacher. She is now a lead teacher, and in that role, she is mentoring new teachers within the district, which is just awesome. Tough job, but absolutely a crucial one. And her practice is guided by, or guided through the lens of supporting the social and emotional learning for all students. So we welcome you and we thank you again, Kiana. Thanks so much. And my name is Don Ricchino. I'm the managing director from Teaching Channel. I am 24 years in education, and I would say roughly the past 8 years or so, specifically working in professional learning and how we can use video technology, whether that's Exemplar videos, video self-reflection, peer feedback, coaching, to really help teachers, coaches, school leaders be the best that they can be for our students. So we are excited to get this conversation rolling with you today. I'm going to shrink up a couple of things here on the side so I can see all of you better, and we'll get rolling. So our agenda for today, I just want to let everyone know we're recording. That note's more for me, so I don't forget to tell you that. We are recording so that you'll be able to have this later and you can share it with others if you'd like to. We're going to do some polls, so we will ask some things about you and your district. And we can't wait to share some new research with you about video coaching. So we'll get into that briefly. Then we'll talk about the 3 strategies about how we can help impact teacher growth and retention. And then Kiana will give her perspective on how she's using video, specifically through the Teaching Channel platform, to really implement all of that within her school within Roanoke City. Along the way, we'll be giving away some free resources as well. So look for those. We'll have some QR codes and we'll also chat out some links. And then we're going to be taking your questions. We'd like to save the questions for the end, but if you have some that are relevant and we can catch them and time allows, we'll try to address them as we go along. So we will get started here with our first poll. So I'm going to ask my team to go ahead and share that first poll, which should be just asking you what your role is. So I think it's just popping up right now. So we'll just give you a quick minute here to answer this one. Let us know your role. Right out, I'm seeing that there are instructional coaches and mentors with us. There are professional learning administrators, SUPs and principals. There's at least one teacher here with us. I'll just give you another minute here, or another second rather, a few more people to answer before we move on. So Kiana, it looks like we have folks that play your role that are mentors in helping lead the way for teachers, as well as some professional learning leaders and district and school leaders as well. Okay, we can take that poll down. Thanks very much. That's super helpful. Thanks for sharing what you do. All right, and we'll keep us moving along here. So before we jump into what Roanoke City's doing, I think it's really important that we get a sense of why we're talking about video-based professional learning. And there's been great research in the past, especially out of Harvard University. If you're not familiar with the Best Foot Forward project, feel free to Google that, or Harvard and Visibly Better. They've led the way for roughly a decade on this type of research. But at the beginning of 2023, the Institute of Education Sciences, which is sort of an independent arm, evaluation arm out of the US Department of Education, released some results of an exciting research project that they did that included roughly 100 elementary schools. And I'm just going to kind of pop through this quickly. It included 350 teachers that teach 4th and 5th grade out of 14 school districts that were either large urban or suburban districts teaching math, ELA, or both. And they were randomly assigned one of these 3 types of coaching. So there were 5 rounds of observation and feedback based on classroom videos, or 8 rounds of observation and feedback based on those videos, or there was a group that had no external intervention at all. It was just business as usual. So these teachers recorded themselves teaching, and they would submit those, and then they would receive that asynchronous virtual coaching. So what did that, what kind of results did we get from that? There's several that I'm going to share on the screen here, but there's a couple that I've highlighted that are very relevant for our conversation for today. So let us keep going. The results are that 5 cycles of video-based coaching not only improve the teacher's practice, but most importantly, the reason we're all doing this, improves student achievement. So that's significant. What's interesting is that 8 cycles of video-based coaching really had little or no effect on student achievement. And as I've shared this research recently with groups just like this, the feedback comes to me, it's probably too much. It's probably too much feedback. So 5 cycles seem to be the sweet spot here. Independent and external coaching that was received here really helped teachers' perceptions on the feedback that they were getting. So sort of fresh eyes, so to speak. This really stood out. Teachers with 5 years or less experience, or those who were seen as having weaker teaching practices, they were the ones that showed the greatest improvement in both math and ELA compared to those who did not receive the additional coaching. So again, calling out for you that what really stands out here is that 5 cycles of video-based coaching having an impact on that teacher's practice to the level of actually improving student achievement. So that's exciting. And then the newer teachers definitely seeing the benefit from this. So hopefully you're learning something there. We are giving you a QR code. This is the first resource we're sharing to a National Council for Teacher Quality article about this research. It's very good. Highly recommend you read it. So I'll just hold on that for a minute in case you would like to scan that. And I think we're going to share that. Yes, we already have. We've shared it in the chat. So perfect. All right. I'm going to keep us moving. This is not research-based, but I'm sharing some words from a district leader that we've partnered with who's been using the Teaching Channel platform for a little over 7 years. And this is Dr. Persecki, who's the superintendent in the Indianapolis area. It's MSD of Decatur Township. And I'm just going to read this one to you. He said, the return on investment for using this platform has been tremendous. The entire district team is more reflective on practice, and we've increased teacher retention and, most importantly, raised student achievement by improving the quality of instruction. I can tell you all day about video coaching and about how Teaching Channel can help, but it's when we hear about the impact in the schools and the impact on job satisfaction for teachers, that's what we're most excited about. So thank you to Dr. Persecki and his entire team. Okay, so we are going to launch one more poll before we get into our content and start talking about these three strategies and hearing from Kiana. So we can go ahead and pop up our second poll, which should be about, are you currently using video? And we'd love to get your thoughts here. So we'll give you a minute. Whoops. I think the poll just disappeared for some reason. Can we get the poll back, or did it disappear? Oh, there it is. Not sure what happened there. Okay. All right. So there are some that are using it, some that are using it through their schools, some that are using it on their own. It looks like the majority of the folks here who are here are currently not using video. So we welcome you. And, you know, this is something that I can tell you from years of experience is working and having tremendous impact in schools. So we're excited that you're here to learn about this and trusting our team to share this knowledge with you. So hopefully that research was compelling, but as we get into these strategies and we hear from Kiana and what's happening in Roanoke City, it'll help convince you a little more. Okay, we can take that poll down. Thanks everyone for giving us your thoughts on that. And we'll keep it going. All right, so strategy number one is talking about the impact, as you saw in the research, the impact that video-based professional learning can have in supporting your newer teachers. And generally when we talk about new teachers, I don't know how it works in your district, but usually it's the 0 to 3 years experience that we've talked about. So let's dig in on that. So Exemplar videos. Many of you know Teaching Channel already. There's currently over 1,600 videos, Exemplar videos in the Teaching Channel library. And these can be used to help teachers uncover all kinds of strategies. We film with multiple cameras and multiple microphones in the school buildings that we're in. As you can imagine, during COVID, we were not in the buildings, but back in fall of 2022, we were back in buildings all around the country. And we have added roughly 150 new videos here. And we are adding roughly another 150 here over the next few months. But there are videos on classroom management, such as working on transitions, strategies for getting attention, so attention getting signals, but so much more than that. Our videos can be anywhere from roughly 2 minutes to full-length classroom videos that can be close to an hour long. So there's plenty there for teachers to be able to find. They can search by keyword and then filter by topic, subject area, grade level. So before I jump in and go ahead, Kiana, I know that you are using Exemplar videos. So before sort of recording your own videos, can you talk a little bit about how Roanoke City is using the Teaching Channel library?
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Again, I'm so happy to join you all. So in Roanoke City, we split our new teacher cohort into two different new educator cohorts, one where it is with the entire division, and then the other where it's at the school level. And so often those cohorts only go through things that deal with either the school division and their policies as a whole, or the school building and how it functions and taking attendance and things of that nature. So we miss a lot of opportunity there with things that actually happen in the classroom. So with the Teaching Channel, we're able to provide them with examples of firsthand experiences in the classroom on things like classroom management, transitions, lesson starters, those attention getters. So it's the things that we as a division miss and as a whole level but then we're able to specifically target those new teachers by giving them explicit examples through the teaching channel.
Excellent. I like that sometimes our team members and some of the folks who have been using Teaching Channel for a long time have said they like the freedom that they have in being able to search for whatever videos that feature the particular skill or area of practice that they would like to work on. And some of them like to joke around that they can be in their pajamas and they can have a glass of wine and be able to watch these and start focusing on things that they can do better. Additionally, there are playlists that each and every person using the Teaching Channel library can put together. So teachers or coaches can create their own playlists and they can favorite them. So we're in that world of, say, Spotify, where we can all create our own playlists. But also Teaching Channel works specifically with the school districts that we partner with to create custom lists for your team. So if you wanted a new teacher induction playlist that's available on day one, we can definitely do that for you. So playlists can be really powerful. But another great thing here is the ability to take your own videos that you're creating of your teacher's practice, and whether that's they filmed them on their own or someone else has filmed them because they've invited them into their classroom. But Teaching Channel allows you to create your own district library as well. So Kiana, maybe you can talk a little bit about the types of things that you're doing there.
So, in reference to creating our own videos, what's been very beneficial for us is throughout the individual schools, they're able to see people that they're building relationships with. So not only does that foster a sense of belonging because you feel a part because this is my neighbor, this is my team member, someone down the hall, you also foster that collaboration amongst teams. And like he said, you get the ability of choice. So you get to choose whether you have 10 minutes to watch a video. You can choose the 10-minute one. You can choose the 3-minute one. So you have that freedom of choice. And part of the adult learning theory is allowing adult learners to have choice. And so they're more prone to look at a video that they're able to choose themselves.
Excellent. And you said something there that reminds me of a saying that we hear in education all the time, which is sometimes the best PD we get is from the teacher down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in some districts, especially in larger districts or more rural, spread out geographically, it's the teacher is in another school that might be a couple of miles away. And we all know the realities of teaching today and staffing today. It is very difficult to get a substitute, to be able to take time to go observe another teacher. And this is where the Teaching Channel platform really is helpful in these areas. So you can observe another teacher's practice, whether they've shared that with you or it's an exemplar video that you've put into your own district library. So that's great. I'll keep us going. There's another unique thing that can happen, and I think it's worth showing an example of this, of taking a Teaching Channel, say, classroom management video, and being able to not only find that, but as a coach, and I know we have a lot of coaches and heads of professional learning here, taking one of those videos and being able to share it with an entire group. So I'd like to give you an example of what that looks like. So I'm going to show you the Teaching Channel platform here. And Kiana, you can see that, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And what I'm going to do is go into the Teaching Channel library and just give you an example of what one of these videos would look like. So you can see there's over 1,600 videos here. I'm going to do a quick search for classroom management videos, and we have 100 matches. I'm able to filter that list, like I mentioned before, by topic, subject, or grade level. I'm going to say I just am looking at the K-3 area. And so I'm going to filter that, and it narrows it down a little bit to 76 videos. Notice that in addition to focusing on what teachers are doing, we're also sharing videos about what coaching conversations look like as well. What does giving good feedback look like? What's a good post-observation conversation look like? But let's get into a quick little classroom management video, strategies for lining up. And so I'm just going to be quiet and let you check out this video that was recently filmed with our partners in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay, Gavin, you can go ahead and get the stick and start to line us up. Okay, I'll work on this with you in the small group, okay? I have a yardstick. Every teacher in our school has this yardstick that has a rainbow of colors. and clips that have students' individual names. It's the way our school has chosen to kind of use as a visual aid to help manage some behaviors in the classroom. Okay, who lines up? Hasibola, who lines up after the helper? I give it to our line leader or our helper, whoever's in the front of the line. And the students have practiced a line order, which for our room is just their last names in alphabetical order. We've practiced it again this entire year. And so they know, and I have asked them to make sure the person who you know is in front of you has stood up and started walking to the line before you get up. And it's the same way when they're in a line and maybe I have them sit down in the hallway. I tell them to make sure the person in front of them sits down first to ensure that we have enough space around our bodies. My body is still. My body is still. I'm facing the front. You're facing the front. Standing straight and tall. Standing straight and tall. My arms are. My mouth is. Ready for the hall. I'm ready for the hall. When we are in line and it is time to go in the hallway, I just use a little, it's a callback again to kind of refocus them to understand that we're going in the hall. So I tell them, they repeat to me, my body is still. I'm facing the front, standing straight and tall. My arms are crossed. My mouth is quiet. I'm ready for the hall. So it's just a reminder to them that we're transitioning into a place where the behavior expectations are different.
So I'm going to stop that right there. And so that's just a quick example of, again, a classroom management video that so many newer teachers can really benefit from seeing. You know, there's always this explanation of what we're looking at. There are thought starters and transcripts along with our videos as well. Notice that teachers can add these favorites. They can create their own playlists. You can see that I've had my own playlist here. And this is exactly what Kiana and others are doing here to be able to help support new teachers. Notice that I can add this to my activities as well. And this is what I was describing before of being able to share a video with a group. So I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. Here is one that has been shared, a teaching channel video that has been shared, and I'm going to let you see what it looks like when it's been opened. So Kiana, feel free to talk a little bit about this too as I show it. I'm not going to play this video, but you can see that we're sharing a teaching channel video with a couple of people, and they're making timestamp comments about that teacher's practice. So as an induction leader or coach, you can share this with the group and basically assign them to watch this video and start observing what they see the teacher doing well. And Kiana, I know you're using this in a similar way.
Yes, the timestamp with the comments has allowed us to enhance our problem-solving ability, like with the problems that we have in our classrooms. When they're able to see this, they're able to think, like this example here, well, I wonder this or I wonder that. And then that also allows for a productive coaching conversation, because when we're having this back and forth, you know, you're not intimidated by being in a meeting or tired or worn out from being in another meeting. It's interactive. So then I can come back and comment or reply to what they said, or someone can come back to what I said. So it allows for good collaboration.
Excellent. So again, this is very simple for people to do. It's easy to share. We set up a hierarchy of what your cohorts and PLCs look like, and you're able to either share this with an individual or share it with an entire group and have an asynchronous conversation about this teacher's practice. So simple to do. I'm going to keep us moving along. Here we go. And here's another example, just another resource for you. A great article that was published in Edutopia this summer titled Video Coaching as a Tool to Retain New Teachers. This was written by the Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Stephanie Hofer. That's also in MSD of Decatur Township. So if you want to grab this article, feel free to scan this, and I'm sure we're sharing this in the chat as well. I'm going to keep us moving. And we will get into one more poll. This one is just about teacher retention in general and what the current climate is like in your buildings. So how important is the teacher retention situation? Is it number one priority for you in your district right now? It's important, but maybe it's not in crisis mode. Or maybe you have it solved. Maybe you're the one that should be leading this webinar and you have teacher retention solved and it's not a problem. So we'll just give you a minute here to give us your thoughts on this. Looks pretty split, but it looks like teacher retention is an issue for all of us. I sort of expected this answer. I'm sure, Kiana, you did as well.
Yes, yes.
Right. We've noticed in the districts that we partner with that it's generally somewhere 10% of their total number of teachers are new teachers. So we're obviously bringing in new teachers all the time. Teachers are using video to reflect on their practice and get coaching in their pre-service days. So again, this is why we're stressing the importance of keeping this kind of a tool available to new teachers as they get started. So, okay, thanks everyone for sharing the results here. It looks like it is the number one priority for a good sized group, and if not number one, it is really important to you. So thanks for participating in that. We are going to move on to our next strategy, and that's really using video beyond the Exemplar videos and sharing those with groups, using video to record your own practice. And what does that allow you to do? It allows you to reflect on your practice and also get peer feedback and coaching. So let's dig in on that. So Kiana, talk a little bit about, and I'm just going to share a few more bullets here, but please talk about getting teachers past that point of watching a teaching channel video and now starting to build that confidence to record their practice so that they can do the following things.
So here we found that teachers feel that it's less intimidating for having someone always in there watching, where they have the ability to record their own lessons, upload it, and then to actually reflect. Teachers, and I think adults in general, thrive on consistency. And so being able to do it themselves and then go in and reflect, they also said that it has encouraged them to be more honest. Ironically, you know how sometimes you might ask a teacher, hey, how's it going? Do you need anything? They'll quickly say, no, everything's fine. But being able to go in and review what they've done in that lesson and with the timestamp again, being able to comment, they feel like they're able to be more open and honest about what they see. And then we've also provided them with the choice of, well, you can share it with the principal. You don't have to. You can share it with us as the coaches. You don't have to. But it opens again, fostering that sense of collaboration. Because they're able to say, yes, I want to make the decision to choose to share this video, because we remind them, we can't see it unless you share it. But again, just opening the door of honesty, because a lot of times it's, I'm okay, I'm fine, but no. So the self-reflection has been huge.
I really appreciate that you bring up the fact that teachers control their own videos, and that's a critical piece here. And we're going to talk about shifting the culture as our third strategy, but I think that touches on it for sure. Is getting a teacher to say, when you give them video resources like this, okay, this is here for you. We're giving you agency to look for any types of strategies that you'd like to work on. Now you can watch it, learn from it, decide what you want to implement in your practice. And as you build that confidence, now record and reflect on your own practice. And I think that it's lost on people sometimes that, athletics and the performing arts, they've been using video forever. I mean, the amount of cameras that are on say a football team to capture every move and every moment from all different angles is really, it's sort of mind-boggling. And I've worked with superintendents to say, if people knew how much money we spend recording the football team and we're not doing that for teachers, that's an area where we need to get better. So you do spot things. Can you talk, Kiana, like what things have teachers shared with you that they've spotted about their own practice? I mean, I definitely have examples I've been told, but what things have they seen?
So a lot of our teachers talk about the things that they thought they said. Like, oh, I thought I said this. Now I understand why they didn't quite follow my direction, because I didn't say what I had planned to say or I had thought I was saying in the moment. So just a matter of changing the culture of, I'm the teacher, yes, but now I understand maybe I didn't articulate it the way that I should have. So just being reflective in that and then being able to go back the next day or the next lesson and add in what was missed. So then we turn that into a coaching conversation of how it immediately improves the quality of instruction. So then the second time around, then that student performance is where you want it to be because you've reflected. So without that reflection, you're still putting the blame on the student, where it's that internal, I didn't say it, just that was just simply missing.
And I think there's that level of honesty about your own practice, right? And I've heard teachers say, I didn't realize until I watched the video that I typically only engage one side of the classroom.
Yes.
And that may sound like it's trivial. It's not. I mean, it can have massive impact. The teacher is ignoring one side of the classroom. I don't have to tell you that that could have a lot of impact, negative impact on the level of engagement. And I think, as we'll talk about more, the interesting thing here is that teachers build this sort of confidence to say, I need to get better. And they're driving this on their own versus, as you said, it's intimidating to have somebody come in the classroom first. Now you're eventually sharing this with a coach, and that'll be our next subject that we get into here, and asking for feedback and supporting your PLCs. Now you're able to say, okay, I'm ready to start to ask for help, and I can share this video with someone. So talk a little bit about how that's working for you.
So I have a perfect example actually. So yesterday I went into a classroom for one thing and saw one of our exemplar teachers doing something at our small group table for reading. In our PLC, our professional learning communities, in second grade, for example, we're focusing on small group reading to build decoding skills so our students can become fluent. And she was using letter tiles at her table for phoneme and graphic mapping. And because that is an area of struggle for us, I just ran quickly and got my device and came back and just started recording. So that spoke to, us fostering that sense of belonging and collaboration within the building where she wasn't even bothered that I was able to come in. And literally a quick 3-minute video I was able to share today in our PLCs and have people go back and now reflect on that. So we did watch it together, but they're going to go in and reflect and timestamp just in that 3 minutes, something that they can implement immediately after that reflection on what would help their students. So not only are teachers asking for feedback, now they're also sharing, and then we're collectively doing feedback in the teaching channel.
Yeah, and I think that's when you know that this is really taking root. I mean, obviously, this has been in Roanoke City for a bit, but at the same time, Kiana, the fact that people are ready to move to sort of these next levels, the way we've watched it happen is that, yes, people use the exemplar video to start out with, and eventually they move to recording themselves and reflecting. That might be all that they do in the first year, but we don't want to discount the impact that can have. Even
Right.
in one academic year, that can have a lot of impact.
And then one of the teachers who is, she's in year 2 of teaching, but new to our division, she's like, well, can I even record myself trying this and reflect? And I'm like, absolutely. Like, yes, there we have it. Absolutely. You don't only record what we think is going to be perfect, record it, in the midst. Because even in the exemplar video example, there was a student at the teacher table and she just happened to crawl under the table. So we even use that as another coaching conversation on how she didn't, disrupt what she had going on at the teaching table, but was still able to bring that other student back to engagement. So, just having it become like a continuous cycle of, can I do it too? Absolutely.
That's great. That's interesting. Yeah, because I mean, the classroom is real, right? And we can't always know exactly what the kids are going to be doing. And when you do the formal observations, and I know this, my father was a teacher here in Chicago for 51 years. And even towards the end of his career, he was a fantastic teacher. He just didn't like to be observed because things can go wrong. But the fact that that's recorded and you see how the teacher was able to manage through that, that's a great teachable moment for others too. So that's a great use of video. One of the questions that was sent my way, you sort of touched on it. You were talking about the length of the video. We get asked this a lot, and we were asked this today. What's the right length when somebody records their own videos? I'll give my answer, and then you can share what you think there, Kiana. In doing this for years, we've been told that the sweet spot is roughly a 10 to 15 minute video. You don't need, unless you're doing a formal observation, you can certainly use this for that. You don't need 50-minute videos. This is supposed to help you do some quick things that you can very focused things. So that's our answer is it's roughly, you know, a 10 to 15-minute video. How about for you?
So, and that's the language that we always use is that it should be targeted. So, like for instance, my quick video was 3 minutes. Even at a minute and a half, you had enough there to be able to replicate that positive practice. Our sweet spot seems to be about 11 to 12 minutes, it seems. Um, I've had a recording that went 40 minutes, but it was just too many things. So again, I think
Mhm.
the intentionality of it being focused. So we found like right about 12, 11 to 12 minutes where we found a sweet spot here.
That makes sense to me.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about, and we're touching on it here in the bulletin,
No.
we're jumping ahead. Talk about when somebody shares this, maybe give an example of a specific, a specific thing that a teacher was working on and we're able to help them with.
One of the things that in fourth grade, we had a teacher who's in his second year of teaching, and he was struggling with the time management of transitions. So he was noticing that his transitions were taking 10 minutes out of the 40-minute lesson that he had prepared. So 10 minutes for one transition, you know what that's like in an elementary classroom or anywhere. I mean, it's chaos. So we were able to go in. He was able to record the beginning of a lesson where he was literally passing out some post-it notes to go along with tier one instruction for them to make some anecdotal notes. So sounds great, but something that should have taken literally a minute and a timer took 8 minutes even when he was recording. So he was able to share that with his team leader and also with me as the instructional coach, and we were able to kind of narrow down what could you have done differently, what did you do. But I think the sweet piece about that was he self-reflected first, then we went in and had the conversation, through, like you say, asynchronous, and then he was able to go back and shorten it. So even just simple things that he didn't even think of, incorporating the timer, things of that nature. So then being able just to share that narrowed it from 10 minutes to 8, so he's got it down to 2 minutes. So we're working on one, but to see that progression go that quick, whereas he didn't have to go to another room to look at it. We were able to have those conversations after he self-reflected.
Well, what's great about that too is, again, one of the things that I want people to take away from this, especially those that are joining that are new to video, is video presents a common piece of evidence. This goes all the way back to the Harvard Best Foot Forward project and their research. That's one of the key findings. It changes the conversation. I think a lot of people who are joining us today have probably had the experience of being observed, and somebody has a checklist in the back of the room and maybe puts the checklist on that person's desk, and maybe there's a conversation a week or so later, and it's not quite aligned. There's no sense of this is here to really help me, and the teacher sometimes looks at that list and says this isn't a good reflection of what I was doing or what I think I was doing. It's a game changer when Kiana and her team are able to basically say, let's look at the game tape together and let's really see what happened. And it's not a gotcha. This is, and we're going to jump right into this now and talk about our culture changes here. This is really focused on helping you get better. So with that, I'm going to talk about really shifting to a culture of support. And this is our third and final strategy. We have some more things we're going to share with you here, another free resource as well. I'm just prompting you, if you have questions, to go ahead and use the chat for that, and we will try to get to it. So I just started sort of revealing that phrase already, but we're moving here from moving toward a culture of growth versus a gotcha type situation. Using video in this way is not, especially video coaching, is not there to catch you doing something wrong. As Kiana was sharing, teachers control their own videos. So that's key. They know, this goes a long way in building a culture of trust, but getting them to really understand that this is about having collaborative conversations and focusing on what we can improve. So Kiana, I'd love to hear stories about how this is changing the attitudes in your building and throughout your district. And most importantly, if you could follow it up with what you're hearing about teachers saying, I don't want to leave. This is the kind of support I've needed to say that I want to stay in this district.
Absolutely. So it's definitely been a culture change and an attitude shift. when I have my coaching conversations as it relates to the teaching channel, we always focus on how this is non-evaluative, but think about the benefit that it does for your evaluation. In Virginia, this supports two of our teaching standards. Two being instructional delivery, because you're improving your practice to support student achievement, and then professional learning. So, I mean, it's just right here at your fingertips, and it's targeted, explicit, and you have that choice. Specifically with our attitude shift, we're seeing teachers go from I can't do that or to I'm trying to get to the I can. And in seeing that growth, even in a year, we had teachers come from neighboring divisions who are saying, I've never received this amount of support. Again, like I said earlier, adults, they like consistency. And this is something that has been consistent where they're given support, not only from the videos that are there in the archives, but then from what we're sharing here. And then after they self-reflect and decide to share, that is also an additional layer of support. And this is before you even get to having an evaluation. So you're perfecting your craft and seeing student achievement grow during that. Not only that, we're pushing positive practice forward. I think that is so huge. Seeing the good things happen, seeing it spread, again, fostering that collaboration. I can't say that enough. That has been huge. So we're interested to look at the data from this year, because we've heard such good things on retention, like, oh, this, I've never received this type of support. So we're interested in seeing those numbers grow. So we're excited about that.
Excellent. I can tell you from the districts that we've worked with 5+ years, this is one of the things that they come back and talk to us about is, I had an assistant superintendent tell me just a couple of weeks ago, she said, this summer when we were training new teachers, I looked around and noticed there's fewer and fewer that we need to train. We're retaining more of our teachers, but it's not just the teachers, it's the coaching. Because, you can speak to this makes coaching, I would dare say, a little bit easier. So don't feel like you have to run from classroom to classroom or from school to school. So could you talk about it from that perspective and how it's helping you as a coach?
We always use the term the proof is in the pudding. And with the video capturing things, I mean, like you said, it's right there. It allows us the evidence. We can see in some cases, what the students are doing. Sometimes people are even kind of zooming in on the actual student work, or like I said, at that teacher table, those tiles where we're actually able to see the students shift their mindset or change their answer or something based on a routine or something that's happening in the classroom. So like I say, it's helping us talk about the quality of instruction. It's focused. Trying to think what else. I can't speak again. I just keep going back to this sense of collaboration, because as the coach, it kind of even frees you up a little more and we're building the capacity of our own teachers. And I think that's most important, is building that capacity. And that's going to make them want to stay in education and want to stay in your division.
That's great. I did see a couple of questions coming through, and some are being sent to me privately. Let's see, there's one about using videos and embedding them as examples from Mike. Mike, yes, there's ways, reach out to Teaching Channel and we can certainly talk to you about ways of embedding our types of videos. There's different ways to work with it. Typically what you've seen here is the access to the Teaching Channel library. There are different things that we can do to support what you're doing. So we're happy to have that conversation with you. There was a question about whether or not you can just reflect privately. So I definitely wanted to reiterate that and emphasize that yes, as Kiana was sharing, the teacher uploads the video, and until she is prepared to share that with someone, no one else knows that it's there. No one else has access to it, no one can see it. We've had administrators say, I think this teacher is trying to game the system. They've uploaded 4 or 5 videos and I only saw one of them. And we tell them that they're not gaming the system. That's actually great, because they're seeing things about their practice that they want to do better. And they are pushing their practice forward, and you haven't had to intervene in any way. So there's the power of video. I'm getting some other messages. I want to make sure I'm getting these. Excellent. Yes, this is great. Can this be used for evaluation or coaching. And Kiana, you mentioned this, and I just want to touch on this. We have, largely seen that the schools and districts and higher ed institutions that we partner with, they use this mostly for self-reflection, peer feedback, coaching. I want to be very specific in how they use this platform. There's informal coaching. You do not have to use an instructional framework to tag things, but the more formal level, you can. So you can use this for formal instructional coaching and or observation, so that you go beyond what we shared a glimpse of here, with the videos and the asynchronous conversation. It gets to identifying areas of strength and what are next steps for growth and so forth, and then providing ratings as well, so that we can get data points. There's tremendous reporting and data that's available through the platform. So there are lots of ways to do that. And as Kiana's talking about, and using it for getting better with your evaluations, we've had many districts tell us that they will add their own instructional framework, but they may add their state's evaluation framework in there as well. Maybe not to use it for evaluation, but to actually prepare for evaluations. And this can really help them, perform better when it comes to evaluation. So these are great questions.
And if I can share just again that when we talked about it in our PLC today, that's what we focus on. While this is non-evaluative, for some schools, their principals want them to have like a data notebook to have evidence of their for their evaluations. This is just, again, a way of saying that how I am self-reflecting. So that's instructional delivery here in Virginia, and then the professional learning as well, having these videos. And I just think it adds to the evidence.
Absolutely. So today there was a great new piece that was published by eSchool News. This is from another district that we are partnered with. That's Jackson Public Schools in Mississippi. And this is from a lead teacher, just like Kiana. This is Dr. Sonia Johnson, and she wrote a great piece called How Video Coaching Helps Us Support Teacher Growth and Retention. Who could have guessed that it would be published today? But here's the QR code that'll get you a link to this. So hopefully you get something out of that and enjoy that. Thanks for sharing that link also in the chat. If you are interested in learning more about this, I know there's a couple of people who have already said, how can we learn more about it? This will take you to our website. So I'll give you a moment to scan that if you need it, so that you can check out what we have to offer. There's some great videos on our website that show you sample videos from the teaching channel library. You get to hear from administrators that have been using the platform for years, not just for the Exemplar library, but for the coaching aspect and the impact it's been having in their districts for years. It's a tremendous honor to work with all of them. So I'll leave this up for just another minute in case you have another comment or question about it. And I'll take us to questions. I'm being sent one on my phone, so give me 1 second while I pop that open. This is a good one. My teachers are resistant to new technologies, so why should we invest in another tool? I certainly have my answer to this, but Kiana, sorry to put you on the spot here. If you were talking not to me, but to the folks here, colleagues, why has this been a worthwhile investment for you and your school and district?
So it's funny because we had that same kind of question here at my school specifically. That's funny that they came up. But the thing that I won't say sold it, but it was the simplicity. Even those who aren't so technology savvy, or those who were hesitant to learning something new, it's easy. And it's simplistic. Literally, we plugged it in and it uploaded. I will say the first video we uploaded, because I'm not technology savvy, didn't work. But the support, like on the tech end, we have a representative. Her name is Tavia Kathy. She's amazing and is there pretty much anytime we need her. She's got an open link. But I mean, even the logistical piece, the support has been absolutely amazing. But the simplicity, the quickness, and the ease of sharing, I mean, it's just simple.
I appreciate you saying that. And I know Tavia is going to love getting the shout out during a webinar. So thanks for calling that out. Yeah, we really, our engagement team goes out of its way to really partner with the districts that we work with, higher ed institutions, Everyone who is an engagement manager on our team is a former educator. They've been a teacher. Some have been instructional coaches. One has been a principal. And we partner with you from the setup and customization of the platform for your team, such as your instructional framework. What types of pre-observation survey questions do you want to ask? What do your cohorts need to look like? What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish in year one? What do you want this platform to do for you? We partner with you all the way. We conduct all the training. We do monthly check-ins with you. So again, Kiana, thanks for pointing that out. These were great questions, and we've actually gone a little bit over our time here. So I don't see any more questions coming through. I want to take this moment to thank Kiana. Your experience here and sharing it with everyone. It's inspiring. So thanks so much for doing that.
Thank you all. Thank you.
We love working with you. And I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy day to join us and to learn a little bit more. I hope you did get some takeaways from this. We're excited to chat with you if you want to learn more. So reach out to us. You can go to teachingchannel.com. You can search Teaching Channel on all the social networks. We are there and talking about this kind of work on a regular basis. For those that don't know, Teaching Channel is more than this platform that we're talking about. There's so much more to it. You can get professional development courses as an individual. There's so much more that you can do with Teaching Channel. So again, we're very proud of the work, and getting thank yous in the chat. Thank you as well. You're welcome. And everyone have a wonderful day. And we wish you the best as you go into the holiday break here. So enjoy, and we'll start the second half of the school year strong, and a happy new year to you too. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.